You are listening to the Free Spirit Astrology Podcast. Peace, everyone. Welcome back to the Free Spirit Astrology Podcast. I'm your host and astrologer this week, Brandy Williams, here to help you make a little sense of the stars and maybe a few parts of your life for the time being. And it's coming in hot and heavy this week. We have a fiery full moon lighting up the sky, more Scorpio energy rolling in, bringing all the feels, super intense emotions, deep conversations, hidden things continuing to emerge to the surface. So, let's break it all down. Now, off the rip, today, Monday, October 6th, we have this full moon in Aries. The moon is at 14 degrees, 8 minutes of Aries. The sun is at 14 degrees of Libra. It's in a sign-based square to Jupiter in Cancer. So there could be these memories coming back in, past situations, nostalgia, some potential big emotions, even some resentments could be coming through right now. This could influence a lot of things that's happening right now. And this is not an eclipse. This is a regular full moon. There is no nodal influence in this, so no eclipse. And full moons often reveal things, verify things, and clarify things. So perhaps something is coming in a little clearer. We have a deeper understanding about something. And with this full moon being in Aries, this is all about our personal identity. Aries is the I am. This is about the things that we are ready to initiate, that we're on fire to begin something new that we want to start, or just a new way of being. So there could be revelations, clarifications of who I am when no one's watching, who I am when there's no one to compare myself to. Perhaps there are revelations of I never found a lane to fit in because I was always meant to create my own lane. And many of us are ready to cut the ribbon on that new identity, one that no longer needs permission to be the absolute most, to do what we want to do, and to start the thing that we've been on fire to start for some time now. So the sun in Libra is illuminating whatever is misaligned with this sense of self and this thing that we want to do and whoever it is we want to be, the things that we want to pursue. If there are people or situations that are disturbed or off balance with our sense of self and our identity, there is something that's going to come to a breaking point, a quiet ending, or a readjustment of some sort, especially in the areas of life that are ruled by Aries and Libra. So this is a good time to pull out your chart, get familiar with it, see where you have that Libra and Aries part of life, because that is where something is changing and taking place. This could be a full circle moment. And really, this is about how do I advocate and have my own back to get the things that I need and I want versus what I do in relationships or relating to other people. So there's something that could have been initiated around the Aries solar eclipse that happened April 8th, 2024, or the partial Aries solar eclipse that took place March 29th of 2025. So this is around the time where there were new senses of self being planted. We had new intentions. We wanted to start something new. Perhaps this was connected to a pivot in a business or an idea that we had. So we want to notice what changes have taken place since those times. What is unfolding, what has unfolded in our identity and the way that we advocate for ourselves, the way that we go for the things that we want and pursue the things that we want. And are you witnessing this radical rebirth in yourself? Or are there instances where you feel like you're still straddling the fence, over giving, over compromising, needing the approval of others, and it's all data this week. We just want to, see where we are and why some things could be stirring inside of us. So Mars is the ruler of this Aries full moon because Mars rules the energy of Aries, and Mars is currently in Scorpio, rolling solo this week. Some of us could also feel like rolling solo this week. We could be feeling really low key. We could feel fatigued or moody, um, kind of wanting to work off the grid or in the background, because a lot of us are doing some deep emotional processing. That Scorpio energy is fixed water. Water is connected to the emotions. And this is indicating that emotions won't budge really easily. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of us are feeling these intense emotions, things starting to heat up really consistently this week. Something could be reaching a boiling point. This could be anger or desire. We often think of intense emotion as being negative, but with an Aries full moon, this is about change and initiation. I would not be surprised if this was 100% feeling like that swell in the heart right before you take that jump, like Kanye said, I know I'm about to kill it. How you know I got that feeling? I got that feeling. It's about to be something this week. I'm about to take off on something. And, I see that for so many people happening, especially, with the upcoming weeks with so many good things happening. Scorpio energy is starting to roll in, and we're going to have this big water trine of energy that's going to be a blessing for a lot of people. Also, an opportunity to purge, but later about that. So, today, Mercury also enters the energy of Scorpio and joins Mars in Scorpio. And then immediately, Mercury in Scorpio is going to square Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. So that's a lot to say. So, first, let's break down Mercury being in Scorpio. I think it's becoming almost impossible to not be our authentic selves, especially with that square. We are no longer giving a shit about who's on board with that and who's signing off on us being us. Some of us are really like either you're on this thing with me or your ass getting left at the docks. So Mercury and Scorpio is a different type of beast when it comes to communication. We just left Mercury in Libra. This is where we were thinking about how our words affect other people. We were maybe withholding things to make nice. Mercury and Scorpio don't give a shit about none of that. Mercury and Scorpio doesn't mince words. It will not sacrifice its truth and the things that it wants to do to save your feelings. It will not sacrifice saying what needs to be said to keep the peace like Mercury and Libra can. So, with that being said, some things to watch out for is an increased ability to be an intuitive detective and an intuitive investigator. When Mercury is in the sign of Scorpio, we have a very keen ability to read between the lines and to pick up on things that are not being said. It's almost like you can feel the conversation in the air that was being had when you walked into the room, or it's just something about like somebody is saying something and you looking at them, but they lying. They're leaving something out. This is something that's incredible about Mercury being in Scorpio. And if you have a Mercury in Scorpio, you have a built-in human lie detector. So also Mars in Scorpio, because I have Mars in Scorpio. I know when people be lying sometimes. So there could be intense feelings that feel like rage, passion, brooding. We could really feel like past wounds are coming up to the surface and we feel some type of way about it. Those wounds are kind of aching. There could be sexual arousal that comes out of nowhere. That's very primal Scorpio energy. Scorpio deals with death and rebirth and transformation and sex and all those things. So there is intense desire coming up with Scorpio energy and passion with this Aries full moon. We really could be feeling strongly about taking something to the next level or really taking a leap off that cliff without thinking about how scary it is, or maybe we're scared and we're doing it anyways. So we'll also see that people are going to want to talk way less and feel more. People are very low key right now. We don't want to take that personally because when in Scorpio, Mercury is doing a lot of deep emotional processing. We are personally concerned with what's going on deep within us, our inner landscapes. We are concerned about our financial security and safety a lot when Mercury is in Scorpio. And a lot of us are taking the emotional preparations to do something very scary or life changing. Some other things we can see when Mercury in Scorpio is probing for some sort of truth. This is a very good energy to research, to analyze data. A lot of people will be very intrigued about different occult sciences, things that are taboo, like underground groups or like secret societies and things like that. A lot of people could be very interested about their ancestry and roots and how it connects to them with Jupiter being in Cancer and squaring that full moon in Aries. I could see a lot of us really reaching back, wanting to know things about our ancestry, wanting to go deep into our roots or go deep into something, extract some type of information that is not easily accessible or seen. This is also a good time for people to seek support from coaches and therapists and astrologers to really help you with some of these shadow processes that could be happening right now. Mercury also rules transactions, and Scorpio deals with things that are hidden. So we want to watch out for hidden transactions or hidden situations in money matters. Watch out for the loans that you could be acquiring right now, any hidden fees or charges. You definitely want to read the fine print when it comes to money situations for the next few weeks, especially. So, some of the shadow expressions of Mercury and Scorpio are an overfixation on our own safety and security, or the safety and security of our loved ones, paranoia, obsessive thinking, mistrust and jealousy, envy, these unspoken resentments that are starting to boil over. Revenge plots, wanting to seek revenge on other people, is a very scorpionic type of feeling. People trying to dig up dirt and scandal on other people and trying to expose them, trying to catch someone in the act of doing things because you are mistrustful that something's going on, going through people's phones and laptops and their stuff while they're not around. I just want to encourage everyone that what you look for in Scorpio season, you will find, and you may find something that you weren't even expecting. So really ask yourself, what am I doing this for? What are my intentions? And am I ready to piss myself off this week? Just something to keep in mind. Now, Mercury in Scorpio makes an immediate square to Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. I feel like when the personal planets make any contact to Pluto retrograde in Aquarius, Aquarius is all about being your authentic self, letting the freak flag fly. And Pluto is always asking us from different perspectives, are you keeping it real with yourself? Are you doing the things that you really want to do? So this is a transit that could be dropping some truth bombs. And maybe this is happening in your dreams, maybe from a friend, maybe a hard conversation, or somebody just says something to you and really kind of triggers or activates you. But if you've been doing this work, you will start to realize that, man, they really not lying. This is a combination where self-realization is going to happen, but it's going to probably come from a trigger or some type of situation that invokes fear or anger. So some things to watch out for with Okay, so some things to watch out for are secrets being revealed, people's true colors being exposed, people starting to, the mask is coming off. So with Mercury square Pluto, some things to watch out for are secrets revealed, people's true colors being exposed, some things to watch out for are secrets being revealed, masks coming off, people's true colors being exposed, messages and dreams that feel ominous or prophetic, statements that feel like low blows to the gut, ruthlessness, even witnessing that in ourselves, being pushed to a point where we are forced to see ourselves in a different way. We can see some ugly things coming up from the inside, power plays and manipulation, triggers, arguments, people trying to coerce others to believe something about someone. Watch out for people who try to go above and beyond to expose or defame someone else or try to get you to believe something about somebody. A lot of times, those are people telling you exactly who they are. This can be fights and confrontations, a deep need to assert, defend, or protect oneself or someone else. We see this happening on the world stage as well. The revolution is being televised, and we could see more collective outrage and violence spilling out into the streets and people defending the rights and the safeties of other people. So we see a lot of this conflict playing out in real time. Now, as ugly or low down as something may feel this week, these situations are coming to us as mirrors. These triggers are coming to us as mirrors to show us our own hidden motivations and the ways that we self abandon and what happens when we get pushed to a point because we didn't advocate for ourselves or have our own backs for the sake of safety and security. And so we are being asked to not only see our personal contributions to a fucked up situation, but a lot of times there is a need to accept our own accountability, the ways in which we ignore the red flags and the blinking light and the blatant disrespect from a fucked up situation, right? The intuitive nudges that something just wasn't right and we kind of stayed in it. And this is not to kick your own self while you're down. I'm not going to kick myself while I'm down because I have a lot of these situations that are showing up as well. But this is just revealing the hidden parts of our conscious minds and the ways that we were conditioned to try to protect ourselves, the structures that we built that, we perceive in our mind as safety, and, just the ways that we kind of hurt our own feelings and blocked ourselves from certain things. So, Pluto is coming to tear down those false narratives and senses of security and structures that we've been relying on. Because it is time for us to stop hurting our own feelings and walk in our true authenticity. And that is all that Pluto in Aquarius is here to do. Pluto in Aquarius is asking us to quit lying to ourselves and quit blaming other people for the things that we're going through and really take that accountability, jump off those merry-go-rounds and those bad habits with the same people expecting different things to happen because those situations have showed you over and over that they really don't align with you. It's not your future self's path, it's not your higher timeline. And why don't this time we do the most realist, most authentic, legalist, most non-life threatening shit we ever done? By Wednesday, October 8th, Venus in Virgo is going to make a sextile to Jupiter in Cancer. Thank you for this little beautiful, sweet intermission, universe, to an intense ass week. This could be a few things. Perhaps we are recognizing that our friends or loved ones could be going through something. Their silence is a little loud. We check in. We don't take something personal. We charge it to the game and not their hearts because we know their hearts. And maybe we meet up for a coffee date or a walk in the park. This could be good and pleasant conversations. And also, in the midst of people who could be hurting our feelings or showing that they are not who we thought they were, we recognize our solid friends and our safe landings and really understanding that loyal, down ass friends and people in our corner could be hard to come by. My dad told me last night, many are called and few are chosen. So shout out, Dad. I said your quote and it's so true. We have many relationships and many encounters, but those really solid, loyal, safe relationships that love you to be you and love you for who you are can be very rare. So this is an opportunity to appreciate all the people who have your back in your life and who really are cheering you on, especially in the midst of dealing with some hard things this week. Love the people who love you too. So another way to interpret this transit is Venus in Virgo likes tidiness and clean things and organization. And perhaps we have a desire to declutter and clear the energy and remove the stagnancy out of our houses and our emotional dens. We are clearing space and making room. And when we take some type of small action step, you'll be amazed to see how quickly Jupiter will drop in to bless you with some good fortune or new opportunities or unexpected blessings or something like that this week. There's always a shadow side to any transit. So we just want to notice whether or not we are overindulging or nitpicking, be mindful of overspending and any know it all behavior. So try to avoid any I told you so's if your friends are telling you something about some type of merry-go-round that they have been on. So, good deal. Finally, by Saturday, Venus in Virgo is going to move on and oppose Saturn retrograde in Pisces. Anytime Venus, our planet of money, finances, resources, beauty, relationships, opposes Saturn, this is bringing a block, a delay, or a denial to those situations. So this is bringing us back into some heavy energy. Venus opposite Saturn can feel like a creative block. We can feel hindered or stifled in a certain way, or maybe we just have experienced something that has us feeling a little icy or withdrawn or emotionally unavailable. And by Saturday, perhaps this is somebody else feeling like my loved one, my friend has just been real distant, and maybe we could start to feel shut out or we could feel ghosted. We could start to be in our feelings about somebody else's withdrawal. And this could also be a tough love aspect. Perhaps we have a friend or a family member who is in a pity party and, telling a victim story. And we may have had enough of that because they're not seeing their own accountability. So maybe this is the truth bomb that is being dropped from the Mercury Pluto square, where we tell someone, hey, it's not them, it's you. We show them, we hold up the mirror, and Saturn asks for accountability. So, some things to watch out for with this transit could be having the desire to do something, but feeling confined by our obligations. We could feel stifled or controlled by others. This could be an institution or a person telling us no, that we can't do something, so this could be like being denied for a loan, or you have a thing that you want to embark on and you have a partner that's like, that's not a good idea. So you feel blocked, which could bring up some very intense emotions, not having the resources to do what we want, not having the resources, but making a way to do what we want anyway, and then facing the consequences of overspending or putting yourself in a bind. This could just be an overall feeling of just being lonely, stuck, isolated. Perhaps we are the one that really wanted to withdraw. And now that we're withdrawn, we're like, man, I don't have nobody to talk to, and kind of have a self fulfilling prophecy. And, that makes a lot of sense, though, that we could be feeling like this because that Aries full moon can create momentum in us. We could feel, this crave for freedom, for movement. Aries sometimes on the shadow side can have this childlike selfish quality when things don't go the way that Aries wants it to go. There could be a lack of consideration about the other, and we could kind of be in our feelings and in our heads because we want what we want right now. But with Venus opposite Saturn, if you don't feel like this shit this week, don't do that shit this week. Don't make yourself play nice. Don't force yourself to go into something where you finna be the rain on the parade. Like, sit that shit out, and do not try to override negative emotions. Just let it happen. Just be honest. Hey, I'm not feeling it this week. I don't feel like talking this week. I'm not my best self this week, and the people who are down for you always understand, right? And people who don't understand, oh, well, shit, because it could really go left. Emotions are really intense and volatile, and we don't want to unload on people because that Aries energy also has the tendency to shoot with the mouth and ask questions later. So, we want to be mindful of that. Another word of caution with Venus opposing Saturn, we want to avoid invasive cosmetic procedures or major style changes under this transit. Do not get your hair dyed or cut because something probably maybe will go wrong and you're not going to like it. And, you definitely want to postpone and avoid any type of cosmetic surgery and reschedule that until next week when this aspect begins to separate. And on Sunday, she rested. Okay. And that is the astrology of the week. Let's run a quick recap back for all this information. We have an Aries full moon this week, bringing radical rebirths to our identity and changes to do something new. Mercury and Mars in Scorpio, bringing deep emotional processing, exposing the snakes. Deep desires are coming from, beneath the surface. Mercury square Pluto, dropping truth bombs, asking you to be yourself and stop playing yourself. Venus sextile Jupiter is granting abundance through clarity and tidiness and loving the people who love you. And then Venus opposite Saturn gives us a reality check in love and money and our creative endeavors. So that's what I got for this week. Watch out for the sneaky, jealous, revenge type vibes, y'all. Even if it's coming from yourself, really check in because envy and jealousy are normal emotions, but they tell us something. So what's happening with that? Clear the energetic space to make room for the blessings. The blessings can't come in if the energy is not open to receiving them. So clean that shit up and just remember that feelings are not facts. You could be feeling so strongly about something. It is not the truth if you don't have valid facts to back that thing up. This is just an invitation to look deeper into why you feel the way you feel and have a conversation. Don't assume things. Don't assume you know the whole story. You don't if you haven't had a conversation. As always, take what resonates and leave the rest. And if you want to go even deeper in these Scorpio waters, book a reading. This is a great time to do it because a lot of people got a lot of deep shit going on. So I will talk to y'all next week. When Venus enters Libra, we are going to see some nice things happening. Okay, talk to you later. Bye. You are listening to the Free Spirit Astrology Podcast.